My dad treats my mom so well, but she is with his friend. Oh, it's really hard to talk about this. So, like, my mom and dad are both 44 years old and married for 22 years. My notebook broke, and I needed to do some school research. I asked my mom to use hers, and she gave it to me. While I was on the internet, a message popped up saying, "Hi love." I thought it was from my dad, but it wasn't. Turns out, it was from one of my dad's friends who's married. I study with his daughter, and it's just so messed up. I checked the history, and there were messages from like a year ago, plus photos and videos. It was really awful. My dad treats my mom so well, takes her on dates, helps with chores, and all that. I just don't get how she could do that with someone else. My dad is away right now and won't be back until tomorrow. I copied everything. The emails, messages, photos, and videos, and saved them to show him, but I'm feeling so disgusted. You know, I'm trying to hide my feelings, but it's really hard. I don't know what to do. Should I show them both at the same time? Or maybe show my dad first and let him deal with it? And, like, my friend's dad is cheating too. Should I say something to her? It's just so confusing and gross. Oh, it's been a really tough time. So, like, soon after I made the post, I got in touch with my older brother. He's 24, and I told him everything. He was super shocked too, but he told me to stay calm. And he said he would come to me. He lives in another city. He arrived in the afternoon, and I showed him everything, but he couldn't see even half of it. He made a copy to keep it safe and stayed at a friend's house so mom wouldn't suspect anything. The next day, dad came back from his trip, and my brother and I took the chance while mom was at work to tell him. I said I found something in mom's notebook and thought he didn't know, so I showed him, and he started reading everything. After about 5 minutes, he felt really sick and even threw up. My brother, who's in medical school, managed to calm him down, but he was still in shock. We stayed there for an hour and talked again. I asked dad if he knew about this or if they had some kind of agreement, and he said no. I also asked if I did the right thing by showing him since it was not my business, and he said yes. He said I'm part of the family, and I did the right thing. I also asked if I should tell my friend's mom, but dad decided to call her and ask her to come over. She came with my friend, and dad told her everything. She cried a lot and said she suspected he was cheating but didn't know with whom. I gave them their IDs, emails, and nicknames to check, and it turned out my dad had another woman too. It started about a year ago, but nobody knows who she is. I asked my friend for forgiveness for not telling her sooner, but she said I had nothing to forgive, and she understands why I did it. That night, when mom came home, she was scared to see my brother at home. Dad asked her, and at first, she denied everything, but when he insisted, she started crying and told the truth. She kept crying, saying it shouldn't have happened and that dad was the only man for her. Dad asked why, and she kept saying it wasn't supposed to be like this. She begged him not to make any hasty decisions and promised to do everything to show he's the only man for her. Dad didn't say a word and, in the end, took a suitcase. He asked if we were going to stay, and I said I'd go with him. So, the three of us went to my uncle's house nearby. Dad cried all night. I told my brother I wouldn't live with mom even if dad comes back, so he said I could live with him. This morning, mom called me to talk. I didn't want to go, but my brother insisted. She said it was never her intention to hurt dad, and that she'd do everything to be a better wife and mother. She asked how dad found out, and I said I told him. She asked how, but I didn't tell her. I said I hope one day I can forgive her, but not now. I also said I don't want her at my birthday or graduation party, and then I left. Some of you say I see the world in a way that doesn't exist, that not everything is perfect. Maybe you're right, and I'm just a naive girl who doesn't know how the world works. But after yesterday, I realized the damage that betrayal does. I'd rather be alone than do something like that with someone, but who am I to understand, right? I won't answer anyone because I already talked a lot in the other post. So I'll try to answer some questions that I think you might ask. Do I regret it? No. Will my dad try to reconcile? I don't know, but I don't think so. He already talked to a lawyer about divorce, and betrayal counts in favor of my dad in the divorce. Why didn't I talk to my mom first? It didn't make sense to do that. She had a year to tell the truth, and what difference would it make if I told her first? It would be a forced, meaningless confession. Sometimes people have to face reality to wake up. Have I always been angry with my mom? No. Until last Thursday, our relationship was perfect. How do I feel about destroying two families? I didn't destroy anything. They did it when they chose to betray. But what if he's abusive or doesn't meet her needs? It doesn't matter if he's abusive. You divorce him, but what about his needs? By the logic, if she's looking for another one, it means his needs aren't being met too, and he didn't betray.